We have needed rain for a while, and Denver, it's good to get it, but you can't change God's plan.
No, but it's sure great when he delivers it.
It sure is.
My cows is very happy. They were like, yay.
Yeah, they were dancing in the rain,
I'll
were
tell
they?
you, it was dry.
Oh, yeah, it's about as dry as we've seen it here in quite some time. But anyway, wanted to get with this is a paid political ad for Denver Ellis, and we wanted to talk to him a little bit about.
I approve this message.
And okay, there you go. So now, if there's any questions about it, then you've already got the approval from the man himself. Very good. Well, first off, thanks for coming in, spending some time with us, and you've been getting out and about and talking to a lot of different people. What are you finding out there, Denver?
Well, there's a lot of things. And it kind of brings me back to the old college days. You ever do a compare and contrast paper in high school or in college? It's kind of the same thing that's going on here in the last week. So I've been asked a lot of questions from a lot of people. Some people knows I'm running, some don't. I tried to get an insert in your world today, and you guys are so booked up. You rejected me. That hurt my feelings, by the way.
I did not reject you.
And so I had technical issues, so I couldn't do what I wanted to do with some other parts. And I'm still not in my computer, by the way, where I need to be, stand to be.
How about your phone? Have you gotten that fixed?
I can get some stuff on here
through
there, but it's still a big mess. They're telling me I got to upgrade. I got a brand new phone I haven't upgraded. I've had it since January, and I need to probably switch to that phone.
I see, yeah.
So anyhow, it's been but let's go back to the compare and contrast.
Okay.
So, there's people says, Gary is appointed. Our current presiding commissioner is appointed.
Right.
He was not voted in by the citizens of Dane County. He was appointed there because we had a vacancy, and he went through due process, and he was appointed. Whatever controversial lies with that's not with me. That's someplace else.
Which is why he has to run now.
Absolutely, because it's for an unexpired term. So let's clarify that first. So he was appointed there. He was not voted in there.
Right.
So people's like, well, if you had an interest, and I'm like, well, I did have an interest, and actually I was asked back then to apply, but I would never want to do that. I don't want to be appointed anywhere. I know we need people in position. They got to be appointed when there's a vacancy. I understand the process, but I chose not to do that at that time. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to run. Either way it goes, you
want to be voted in.
I want the people to speak.
Okay.
Because that means more than just being appointed, in my opinion.
Okay.
So so let's compare that right off the bat to Claire, because I was asked some questions about that. So I said, I'll talk to Stan about that when we get in there. So that's the first thing I want to talk about is to compare, appointment versus voted in versus could have done. The shoulda, couldas, wouldas.
Yeah.
But I would not have done that anyhow. I had no
woulda.
desire to go through that process. I didn't want to go through that process. It's my opinion now, and we're doing it the right way. Now there's a spot open on the ballot for an unexpired term, so that's why we have elections, right? Let your voice be known, right?
That's it.
And that's important. That's the most important thing about all this right here. So then they was talking about, and I guess they saw in the current meeting in minutes that was posted in our newspaper the other day, I guess, that Gary wasn't there, and there was another vote taken about switching tax dollars. I did not read it, so I don't know what the deal was there. I just know that I guess he wasn't there again last Thursday or whatever it was, Monday.
It was Monday. He was on vacation.
Right. So they're like, so how many days does that make? And I'm like, I don't know how many days he's missed in there since he's been there. I don't count them. Do you count them?
No,
I just know there's been multiple days that he's missed, and I don't know why. I don't ask him why, but people feel it's important that our leadership be there in those positions that they're elected to do. Sometimes you're going to miss if you have a scheduled time off. I get that, or a doctor's appointment or whatnot.
Sure. And he had knee surgery, so he did miss a few meetings due to that.
Right. So I'm just saying that that a lot of absentees there. So they're like, why are you going to be any different? I'm like, well, I'm hoping that I won't. If something arises where I can't be there, I won't be there. But more than likely, I'll be there. I'm dedicated to my other jobs that I work, and I'm not a habitual. I don't leave those jobs. You know what I'm saying? So that's another deal. That day was brought up to me this past week, and then they was talking about the votes that he's missed has been kind of pivotal for the county. I guess this last one was about. I wasn't there, so it was about moving tax dollars or something about taxes or something like that. What was it? What was that for? Last Monday, I don't know. It was in the minutes. I didn't read it. Haven't seen it. Just going off of a comment that was made. That's something about.
The thing you talking about was cart tax Monday.
I'm not for sure what it was.
That's all. That has nothing to do with anything.
So, and then one of the bigger issues that's came up about compare and contrast is this common sense and experience. Well, the common sense part I'm not for sure about, and the experience, no one really. I don't have the experience as presiding commissioner, and although he's been an associate, he doesn't have the experience as a presiding commissioner. And now you're giving me that funny look, like where's this going? And I don't know where this is going. I'm just bringing things out, and I'm an honest guy.
No,
Stan.
I get it.
I have no direction with this at all because the point is right now there is no direction in the county, and I feel that way, and that's where everybody's getting at. That is, I guess, the main point is they don't feel that there's a direction because although there's reports being given, the reports are very generic. You know, when someone goes to a meeting, if I go to a meeting, Stan, and it involves you personally or your business, you're going to say, so, okay, Denver, you went to this meeting, and we paid for whatever it was for you to get there, so how does it benefit me or my business? Well, we're not finding out what those benefits are. We hear about meetings, going to meetings, chairing meetings, but when was the last time you heard to come back and say, hey, this is going to benefit Dent County in this way? How's this going to affect Dent County?
Mm-hmm.
So there's no forward information. We can go to a lot of meetings and discuss stuff, but how's it affecting me and you and George and Paul and you know what I'm saying? There's just no direction there of where things is headed. And then I guess, you know, you was talking earlier about taxes and about Brightspeed and phone lines. You know, we talked about this back, I believe, in July or so. You know, our 911 system is taken out of our general budget to supplement some of the 911 system now when there's a path to go forward because the state has in 2018 has given the consent that you can start transferring some of those taxes off the landline to handheld devices.
You have to have a vote of the people and move it there.
That's correct.
Yeah.
But there's still an option to go there.
There is.
And what I'm saying is that option hasn't even been presented to Dent County, and we're drawing off of a stipend off of our general revenue to help supplement our 911 system. And that's fixing to all change up here after the first year, sometime shortly after. There's not been a direction there either, and I know that's been brought in there not just by me, but there's other people that has talked in there about that situation there as well.
The NG 911 though is on a grant, so
I understand that for the first 5 years.
Right. But I'm just letting you know.
Oh yeah, I know all about that
because it doesn't cost anything for the first 5 years.
Correct, but there's still.
There will be after that. There will be
the
costs.
upgrades and the software updates and whatever else comes behind that because we know it's like my deal with Microsoft.
You've got problems with Microsoft.
So you get a trial time, and after that you're going to pay for what you have to have or what they're going to say you're going to need to continue on for your subscription base.
But even the 911 system we had here, they had to make repairs to it here.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that.
It's always got to be updated.
I agree with that, and that's my point, though. So shouldn't we start putting something in place now to make sure that that's done? I mean, everybody needs 911 at one time or another. It's like your car insurance. I've been blessed. I haven't had to claim an insurance claim on my car ever that I know of. But it's there in case I need it, just like that 911 system. Let's hope you never need it. But when you do need it, it needs to be the best that it helps you and your family. Is that right?
Well, that's one of the reasons why the new NG 911 is coming in, so you can actually text. If you don't have a cell signal that you can call,
right?
If you could text, that's not available right now.
Right, and I think it actually drops a pin where you're at, doesn't it?
It kind of will. Yes, it will show you where your phone is as long as you have the location on your phone. But again, you still you can't do that with our current system.
Right,
and that's why the 9.
So technology arises, cost is going to rise eventually at some point in time. We're going to be held responsible for that. You know, and then something that's kind of, I guess it's just on the back of my mind here a lot lately is, you know, back in May of this year, there was a situation that arose and you was sitting there right beside me when this happened. So if I'm wrong, you say, Denver, you're wrong. I'm man enough to apologize when I'm wrong. It doesn't bother me to apologize when I'm wrong. I just learn from it and go on.
Sure.
But we were sitting there, and I was starting to do an invitation to the round table meeting there the 11th of July, and I was told there'll be no politicking in here. You remember that day?
Mm-hmm.
Well, after you left that day, the conversation pursued a little later on, and that just got itching to me in the back of my mind to how that came up about. Well, I'm in position here, and I don't gotta let you speak. I ain't gotta let Stan speak, and that's his exact words. And we'll do it this way. You know, I just don't get that, and I can understand why there's a disconnect between certain people in the courthouse and the community at large is because I don't think they're comfortable approaching them. I mean, I've made myself available to the community here for the past 12 or 13 months.
Been a while, yeah. I can't.
Totally available. I mean,
Right.
my phone number is 573-453-6089. Call my number. I'll talk to you.
Sure.
Anybody who's called me, text me,
See you on the
message
street.
me, anywhere. You can ask anybody. I've never denied anybody an answer. I've talked to anybody that wants to know anything about me. My life's an open book. I'm a Christian, a firm believer in Jesus Christ. It doesn't bother me. Whatever you want to know, but just be prepared. What if you ever ask me? I'm going to tell you what I feel. I'm not a yes man. I'm not a, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So don't ask me if you don't want to know. But I'm just straight out there. I'm available to anybody that wants to talk. I've always have been, and I believe that's how their commissioner's office should be ran up there. I really believe that. I don't think that you should duck and dodge people because it may be controversial. You're not going to like every question is not friendly, Stan.
No. And not every answer is going to be the one you want to hear.
No, because we got to hear that word no or I'm not sure. I mean, I can tell you an instance right now where I saw it in the paper again the other day. There's been a gentleman that's been going up there about culverts. I know for the past year that I was involved because I've seen him in there multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And he keeps hearing the same thing. Well, we'll look into it. Well, we'll look into it. I'm sorry, Stan. I'm kind of in a blunt way today. So
you're fine.
This one I'm just straight.
You
I
paid
think
for
that's
this
nonsense. You look the man in the eye and you say either we can help you or we can't help you or actually go look at it. You don't keep putting it off and putting it off. Either give him a defined, definitive answer and try to do something or say, I'm sorry, we can't.
Mm-hmm.
Why keep doing that to that's why the people feels that there's a huge disconnect. If you're on the outside, you can tell it if you really talk to enough people. But if you're in there where you're just in a comfortable place where, that culvert don't affect me, so what's the man doing? Why does he keep going up there bothering him? Well, things affect us differently. If Stan has a culvert that needs replaced, or
it's
whatever
important to Stan, right?
That's Stan's issue, and that's priority to you. Just because I'm your neighbor and mine's fine doesn't mean that you haven't got the right to go in there and speak up about whatever you got to do.
Until some water come on your property, right?
Well, we're getting so but you're right. So there's all this line set, and I call it line setting. I don't think people's used to being able to say the words no or yes or, I agree with something. I heard something just a while ago. If someone says, hey, I'm going to get back with you on something, let's do that. Let's make sure that that's taken care of. Either one way, settle things and just do it the right way the first time. It goes back to those 7 Ps. I don't know if you're military in the 7 Ps, but
I'm familiar with them.
Right. So let's do that. Let's live by that practice there. Let's honor what we say and let's put value back into what we say as we are as a human being and it's okay to be humble enough to say, you know what, Stan, I apologize. I was wrong, or I thought this. There's absolutely nothing that my mom would tell you today because that's who I was raised. I was coming out of a single parent home. There's nothing wrong with being a human and saying, I was wrong or I was incorrect or I apologize.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's carry that forward. Let's rebuild our community in the way it should be and the way it was 15 years ago. This place has changed a lot in the last 15 years.
I've been here 40 years, Denver, and there's been a lot of changes made and different things. Society has changed, and a lot of things have changed, and it's unfortunate that those things have happened. But I can honestly say to you that we appreciate you being open enough to tell people, hey, come and talk to me. You're not putting anybody off. If somebody has a question to you, you're more than willing to answer it, no matter where you are. And I wanted to say that out loud. That I appreciate you doing that. Jen Tracy was the same way earlier today. She's made special efforts to come here and answer questions, and she doesn't know that much about Dane County. You've been born, raised, and lived in Dane County all your life. You have a much better grasp of what's going on here, and I want to thank you for doing that because so many people don't answer questions as truthfully as they can. No,
they don't, and they just try to pacify people by, well, we'll see what we can do. Or I wasn't raised like that, Stan. If I go to someone, I have a serious question, I'd like an honest as you can give me answer. I don't want to be, and if it's no, I've been told no all my life.
Very good. You got about 45 seconds, sir. You want to wrap it up?
Absolutely. Well, the greatest thing you can do is make your voice known. You might be different than I am. You might vote different than I do. That doesn't make. At least go get your voice out there. Go up there to those polls today, tomorrow, no later than Tuesday, because they're not going to be there. But go get your voice known, and not just that. Tell someone around you your beliefs. If they're not going to vote, encourage them to go vote. Go take them to vote. Make sure you get and spread the word. If you do believe in my values, whomever might be listening to this, tell your neighbor, tell 10 other people, get other people to pay attention. I got a Facebook page, it's Elect Denver Ellis. Great Facebook, a lot of good resources on there. There's a lot of things there. Go to that page, reach out to me, 573-453-6089. That's my personal cell number. It's on 24 hours a day. Email me, 67denver@gmail.com. It doesn't make a difference. I will tell you, I'm totally accessible. If you got a question, message me on Facebook. It doesn't make a difference, Stan. Just make sure your voice is heard, and get out there and do your due diligence and vote.
Thank you, Denver. Really appreciate that. Denver Ellis, a write-in candidate for presiding commissioner here in the upcoming November election. You can absentee vote now if you want to. No excuse. And again, that absentee voting is only done at the courthouse. That is today and tomorrow, Saturday from 8 to 2, and then Monday from 8 until 5. You can absentee vote. If you do need to take a picture ID with you when you do go. And then on Tuesday, you vote at your polling location, whether it be a school or firehouse or wherever it might be.
And I think Denton County is going to be on fire Tuesday with voters. I really believe it. We've had a record number already.
Number.
And I think if you look across the nation, the voting rate right now is just booming.
And that's the way it should be all the time.
Amen.
In every election, it really should. Denver, thank you again for coming in. Denver Ellis, write-in candidate for presiding commissioner right here in Denton County. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Have a blessed day.